Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Talk with Erika. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another Monday. I have some exciting information to get out to you. My favorite lady, Mayor Karyn Cunningham. Any links mentioned in this show, by the way, will be in the info section on both the video podcast on YouTube. By the way, thank you for subscribing, as well as the audio podcasts. I'm on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts as well, and many others. Mayor Karyn Cunningham of the Village of Palmetto Bay joins me again. She's been on the show a couple of times. Now, during the show in October, Mayor Cunningham joined today's talk with her sister, a harpist. That show aired in October during the breast cancer awareness segment. Now, Mayor Karyn, I know we have a lot to talk about. We need to catch everyone up on the events of the Village of Palmetto Bay and other happenings. I'm so happy you're here with me today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. It's been more than a minute, so I'm really glad to join you again today.
Yes, thank you very much. And by the way, Mayor Cunningham advertises on my mobile app, which you can too. But yeah, you have the Facebook Live still. And so I'm so happy that you advertise on my mobile app with me because that really gets the word out and you do so much for your community. I see your Facebook posts and it's wonderful. You're literally out. You are out walking with the community. So I love it. I love it. So tell me what's going on in Palmetto Bay. Talk to me.
So I guess I would think like what's not going on in Palmetto Bay. There's so many wonderful things happening here. And we've got some issues that we're facing as we've kind of traversed COVID. I like to say we're in the maybe 8th inning of COVID, not quite sure, but hopefully we're kind of moving in a direction, at least here in Miami-Dade County, where our numbers are coming down. We've done a lot of work here, pivoting from early on in COVID, from face-to-face to moving everything virtual. And now little by little, we're kind of doing some hybrid stuff, not only with our meetings, we have hybrid meetings, people can join us. As a matter of fact, tonight, March 1st, there is a meeting, a regular council meeting that starts at 6:30. So folks can come out to the meeting, or they can call in, or they can send in their comments. Same thing goes with a lot of the activities. We transition a lot of our activities so that they are virtual. We have some really great activities for our seniors that are virtual, and I'm looking forward to when everybody gets their vaccine and we can, join together in our community spaces. And our parks have been, they are buzzing and alive with activity. Here in Dade County, you're able to have group sports, which I'm sure is all across the state of Florida. So we've got our teams are back out practicing volleyball, soccer, basketball, football, tennis. Let me not forget to mention our tennis. So a lot of activities going on, and we see I don't want to say we're back to normal, but kind of returning to normal.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's very good to hear, especially down south. Remember, I'm in North Florida now, and it really is a lot different. It is a little bit more lax here. We don't have as many cases, so that makes a lot of sense. So that's good to hear. Do residents get involved in the community? And like I'm talking about from veterans to like teens, like a whole, what's that like?
So you must have definitely been paying attention to this last week in Palmetto Bay because I brought forth a resolution last month to re-engage our robust task force and committees, all these wonderful volunteers in our community. What we were able to do through resolution is they don't have to come together to meet because, as you pointed out, we have volunteers in our community that are well into their 80s and still extremely active. And then like on our Veterans Committee, I think we have one resident that is 81 years old that's serving on that committee. They met virtually this past week. And then I met with our teens last week. And so we've got our youngest volunteers coming in at 13 and 14 years old. So very exciting. If folks, and these committees are really designed for making recommendations to the council. So, folks want to get involved. We've got council members that appoint. We have task forces where the manager appoints. They just need to reach out, check our webpage at www.palmettobay-fl.gov, and they can see all the amazing committees and task forces. And I'm really glad to see all their faces again, even if, right now it's all virtual. It does my heart good to see those that want to serve our community and make recommendations and get to see
Yeah.
them again.
People getting
Engaged.
involved. Yes, engaging people getting involved. I love that. I love that. I do that here now, by the way. I joined the chamber up here and everything. And it's
Oh,
just
that's great.
that's wonderful. I love to hear when people get involved, and especially such a diverse, you've got veterans to teens, and that's wonderful. You have an in-depth newsletter that I love reading, by the way. I
Thank
really
you.
do. And it contains a lot. You're very informative. It's wonderful. And you had some personal stuff in there too, by the way. You have a beautiful family. I love seeing those posts around Christmas
Thank
time.
you. Thanks.
Um,
Thanks.
so talk to me though about what is this bird refuge designation I just read about?
Sure. So this was passed last year. It went through several meetings because changes had to be made. There's a lot of legalities in creating a bird refuge, but Palmetto Bay really loves its natural environment, and obviously, you've been through our neighborhood before. We have a lot of animals and wildlife, and so about a year ago, it might be a little bit more than a year ago, a couple of our council members embarked on creating policy to create a bird refuge here, one of the few cities in Miami-Dade County that is considered a bird refuge. And it really stemmed from, we were having several issues where licensed individuals were coming into the community and leaving with birds. I won't go into the gory details, but certainly not something you want to be observing around the canal area. And so we had talk about folks getting involved. This really stemmed from a group of residents coming forward, and not just folks from all over the community that had witnessed this bird removal, duck removal, peacock removal from our community, came forward, spoke with their commissioners or council members, and then we worked together. We talked about it at a workshop, and then a couple of the council members got busy and created policy. So the cool part is, if you saw on the post, we just got the signage. So we passed the policy. Government takes a while. It takes more than a minute sometimes to get stuff done, but we passed the policy many months ago, and now we were able to get this signage up. So the signage is starting to be seen around Palmetto Bay, and hopefully send a message. And there's some pretty strong wording in the ordinance. So if you're entering the community and thinking about hurting our wildlife, there are going to be some pretty hefty fines. So
good. Well, I mean, that's good to hear. I know that, certain birds have been labeled a nuisance. I think Coral Gables had that, when I had driven through there or had breakfast or, through there, I know that they were labeled nuisances, and that's a problem. So now they have somewhere to go. They have somewhere to bring them. What exactly?
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not about bringing birds into the community. It's really just about making sure that the
wildlife doesn't get touched.
Yeah, that's right. That they're able to remain safe. And if somebody is breaking, because it's law now, so if somebody is breaking the law, we have the ability to fine them and fine them. And so hopefully they won't be entering the community. And I will say we have not seen that kind of activity in quite some time here. So
good.
Hopefully the signage will send a message, and we're proud of it. It's something to be proud of here.
It is. I'm happy that the Village of Palmetto Bay is doing something about that. That's very nice. Very nice to hear.
Thank you.
That.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let's talk now about the 87th Avenue status. What's going on with that? Is that something we want to
Sorry,
talk about?
my printer just decided out of nowhere to come to life.
Nice. I love that.
Sorry, this is the real deal in my office.
That's
I have
awesome.
no idea what's happening over here, but I'm trying to shut it off. Technology, not my friend today.
That was me Thursday, by the way. Last Thursday, I didn't know what was happening, but sometimes you want to throw in the towel and go, really? I get it.
I think I corrected that. I'm so sorry. I missed the question.
87th Avenue. What's
87th Avenue? Yeah.
Status?
So, well, again, we'll talk a little bit about committees and about folks coming together and being engaged. So for many years, I want to say for over 40 years, there has been discussion of bridging, completing a traffic grid, which I know is something you probably understand well, in our community. And so these roads are county roads. And so periodically from time to time, different commissioners will come forward and want to have discussion about bridging, putting bridges. In this case, this came back with a newly appointed County Commissioner, Danielle Cohen-Higgins, to bridge 87th Avenue. It has been, as long as I've been on council, there's been discussion at one point or another. There's traffic gridlock, south of the canal, south of 168th Street. So you've got, different folks wanting to make sure that they have the opportunity to be able to use all the roadways. The issue and what the commissioner essentially did was put together a committee. She called it the Community Connectivity Committee, asked both mayors from Cutler Bay and Palmetto Bay to place 4 appointees on this committee. We offered to host the meetings here because we had the capability for all kinds of stuff, in terms of being able to virtually accommodate residents and input, et cetera. I watched a couple of the meetings. Did not see a lot of productivity. As a matter of fact, really felt there was a lot of toxicity there. And so I made a decision, since they were my appointees, to pull them out from that committee. This was just past last Monday, and put them on a task force. They have a missive, and the missive is to create a position paper for the village. The village has a very strong position. All 5 council members have once again voted in opposition to completing the grid. For me, it's very simply about asking the county to be accountable to the residents of all of South Dade. One bridge is not a solution. Looking at the big picture in South Dade, the potential for growth, especially in those cities south of us. I don't know if you followed any of the most recent developments in Cutler Bay. Southland Mall was actually purchased for $2,600. $2,600. And they have big plans, and they have had big plans for development of that area, just as we're putting in place our quaint downtown area. They've got big plans. So I firmly believe, as I think was discussed in a meeting that happened last week in Cutler Bay, because they're going to continue on with this CCC committee in Cutler Bay with the commissioner. So we've got 2 committees working, much more productive now. We'll get these missive papers out, these position papers, and see if we're able to have that conversation with the Transportation Planning Organization, where this decision will potentially be made. We're not sure at this time. It likely will come during the month of March. We'll see when it's put on the calendar. Another thing I'm very excited about is we were able to pass a resolution to begin conflict resolution with the county on this particular issue. And so yesterday, maybe it was a couple days ago, we firmed up a date with the county. So that will be occurring on March 12th. I'll be joined by our attorney, our village manager, some of our staff, and others in trying to have the discussion with the county about the way this came about, and see if we can kind of turn back the dial a little bit and, really get community input. Because I think at the end of the day, to me at least, that is what is most important, is having the county hear from all the residents in South Dade on the impact of their decisions. So
I firmly agree with that as well. Is that a public thing anyone can go to, by the way, or no?
Yeah, yes. And I'll actually, maybe we can touchstone in a little bit later in March, and see if I can bring an update and get folks onboarded. So yes, they'll be able to come. I don't know how it will all be laid out because we're still in this, this game. I don't want to call it a game, but the ball game, because I keep referring to the innings of COVID. So we're still in the 8th, 9th inning. If we get a lot of folks downtown, my understanding is they may have to go to a location, but then give their testimony virtually. So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out. I'm sure our commissioner will let us know, or the chair of the TPO will let us know when the time comes. So, and we'll make sure to get that information out to our community. But like I said, you know, for me, it's really about getting the community involved. We had a council meeting. We had over 200 folks, you know, largely in opposition here in the village, speak, but we want to hear from everybody. And I think making sure that the county is also hearing from everybody in a respectful manner is very important. And I'm super proud of the way our manager just, you know, picked up the torch, so to speak, and started moving forward with the task force. And they'll be meeting again this coming Wednesday.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. And again, like you said, we'll reconnect and touch base on all of that.
Absolutely. Thanks for following that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yes, everyone should be. Additionally, I hear the Palmetto Bay is very business friendly and eager to have more business come into the village. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting things, and I love highlighting those as well. We've had, during this year of COVID, we had over 45 new businesses open in the Village of Palmetto Bay.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. In the middle of a pandemic, people who sought out licenses from everything from healthcare, which, you know, we understand that, especially during a pandemic, to an ice cream shop. And we understand that in a pandemic as well.
We do, but that's tough when they're telling people to stay out of businesses. So that's a little trying. Good for them.
Well, we have done a really, we've done an amazing job, and they actually opened during these, you know, within the past month or so. So, you know, during this later part of the pandemic. And our staff has really done, our staff and our police department, you know, talk about writing the playbook for the pandemic. These folks were out doing 40 visits at businesses every day, trying to, you know, keep them abreast of what they needed to be doing so that they would be in compliance, and assist them in implementing the compliance. Because, you know, at the end of the day, what little business was, you know, moving about, or not what little business, but what little folks were going out to businesses, want to make sure that they're able to do that in a safe manner. So some really cool businesses. We did ribbon cuttings within maybe the past month or two. Sweet Melody, which is the ice cream shop, and I might add, they're right next door to Maxwell's, which is a pizza place, pizza and a brewery. I was struggling for the words, but brewery. They make their own beer right there, which is kind of cool. El Car Wash, they're showing up everywhere across the state, but they've opened a lot of new locations. And this also kind of cool because you wash your own car. And so, especially during a pandemic, you can get out, mask on, use the vacuum, pull the car through. So you're kind of, you know, in your bubble, your safety bubble. And then another business, which actually opened prior to the pandemic, maybe 2 years ago. It really came on board as an incubator business. Pig Floyd, I think it's called Smoke Ease now. I see you writing it down because I know you're going to come down. Texas style barbecue, and it's all outdoors.
I'm heading down next weekend.
Oh, I love it.
No, I will be soon, but you know what? Yes, seriously, that sounds amazing. So, ice cream and barbecue, I'm there.
Ice cream, pizza, and barbecue. I mean, you know, if you've lost any weight during the pandemic, you know, you gotta maintain. You look marvelous. But anyway, Pig Floyd, you know, not only, you know, in the hiring, because, you know, when you bring in these new businesses, you're hiring folks, which is great. El Car Wash has over 30 employees, all hired locally, which is a big deal. Pig Floyd has several employees, not only doing the cooking, but also doing the serving, etc. And they're just embarking on, they've had, you know, they've had their fair of issues. They really highlight our golf cart community because folks will drive out in their golf carts. They've had some issues with parking. So we've worked closely with them. We want to see them be a success because this girl likes barbecue. Who doesn't like barbecue? Plus, it's a place to go. It's very unique.
That's awesome.
So they're working with Deering Estate, which is right next door when you stop down. I know you're familiar with it.
Yep.
To be able to use a parking lot that they have that's not used at night so that they can safely get these golf carts and cars parked. So we're kind of working with them on some issues so that they'll continue to call Palmetto Bay home. So I'm excited, and I'm going to be out there next weekend in just a few days. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love hearing that. That's really awesome. So let's talk about COVID real quickly.
Sure.
Just because, I mean, I know we've touched upon it throughout the entire interview, but anything, what's happening for 2021? Is anything going to change? I know businesses are opening. This all sounds wonderful, but what's in place for COVID this year and maybe beyond? I pray that we do something by the end of 2021 and this is all settled.
Sure. So we're working with the county. Well, obviously, the county is an entity in and of its own. And Mayor Levine Cava has worked to try and get as much of a supply of vaccines, working with Jackson and other health organizations to make sure people get vaccinated. Good. Right now, we are with the program of the state, which is 65 and over, and then 55 and over with some underlying, and there's a whole list. Folks can, check out our website. There's a whole list of underlying conditions that you would potentially have to be able to document in order, if you're 55 to 65, so that you could get the vaccine. There's a lot of activity with the school district trying to get teachers onboarded as well, because they want to be able to open those schools coming up. And we're working with organizations, well, first with our state rep, Vansalupis, our state senator, Ileana Garcia. They brought over 500 vaccines right here into the Village of Palmetto Bay at Christ Fellowship. They're getting ready to launch another 500 there, so stay tuned. I don't know when that is, but folks obviously can reach out to me as I get information. I'll make sure you're updated. I listened in on a call yesterday with the mayor, county mayor. And the goal is to be able to bring the numbers are decreasing, but to be able to bring the numbers down to where we're at 14 days under 5%. I think there'll be a much greater comfort level. And I think the numbers are coming down because people are, I mean, not for nothing, I'm at my desk in my office alone, but, I'm prepared for when I walk back out into the hallway that I need to put my mask on. Mm-hmm. People are, in Palmetto Bay, people are following the protocol, if not only for themselves, but also to respect the others around them. And again, our code compliance, even though we can't fine for it, our code compliance department, code enforcement department, and our police officers are making sure they're fully stocked with masks, that people realize when you're out and about, if you're not exercising, if you're at an institution or a business, that you need to make sure that you've got that mask on. This is what's protecting the community. This is what's going to bring our numbers down. And we're making it. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's happening.
Yes, I know. I see that. I absolutely see that. Where can folks, by the way, sign up for your newsletter? Because like I said, it is very informative.
Thank you.
Where can they go to sign up for that?
Sure, appreciate that. Well, they can reach out to me. They can email me at kcunningham@palmettobay-fl.gov. They can call me or text me, 305-799-0695. Or if they are so inclined and they want to check out the website, they can click on the tab that says government, click on the tab that says mayor. It'll take you to the mayor's page, and you can click on a tab there that says subscribe, and they will be subscribed. And I appreciate that. Yeah. They can also follow the newsletter because it does get disseminated on my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram. So if they're following me there, they don't necessarily need another email in their mailbox. I know I'm like hitting unsubscribe to a lot of stuff. Me too. But so I know, right? Right. Google's following us, just so you know. But anyway, they can, there's a lot of ways to connect, and they can just read the newsletter as you do often on my social media as well.
Okay. And I've had most of that up, by the way. Everyone can see that. But just in case you didn't copy any of that, remember, you can find all of that in the info section. You click the drop down and they can find all of your links. So that's wonderful. Thank you. Did you want to add anything else? No, we covered a lot, which is awesome. We had a lot to catch up on because it's been a while since we've been on together. So is there anything else?
I'm just super, as always, I know, the village has issues. Every city is going to have issues. I'm just super excited to see all of the good things going on in the community. And we're going to work through some of these, issues. And I just ask the community, stay engaged, stay informed, and stay in touch.
I love that. Mayor Cunningham, thank you very much for being on with me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Always a wealth of knowledge. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to today's talk with Erika. Join me next week for another discussion with the experts who help make life easier. Please visit my website, erikadelsordo.com, where you'll find all of my social media platforms and more. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, thanks for listening.